A Black history living legend resides right here in El Paso. We caught up with the Black Klansman himself, Ron Stallworth, who is currently recovering from COVID-19. And he has a message for the minority community when it comes to vaccines. Here's KTSM 9 News anchor Daniel Marin.
Suffice to say, Ron Stallworth is used to taking on challenges. As you may know by now, he once infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan while working as a police detective in Colorado. His book, Black Klansman, turned into an Oscar-winning film.
I am experiencing now after effects of it.
But last fall, COVID-19 infiltrated his home. Ron and his wife, Patsy, testing positive. Patsy even hospitalized for 2.5 weeks.
She came very close to losing her life.
Both have mostly recovered now. Here are photos of Ron receiving his vaccine a few days ago, something he says he'd like to see happen more often for minorities. You see, Latino and Black communities lag behind when it comes to vaccinations, according to state and federal data.
I can understand why minority groups would in general not trust government.
Ron acknowledges that some of that lag comes from skepticism of the vaccine, in the Black community particularly.
There's a history behind it. Go back to the Tuskegee Institute experiments.
The Tuskegee experiment was carried out by the U.S. government from the 1930s to 70s. Health authorities used Black men as guinea pigs to see what would happen if syphilis were left untreated. The program participants thought they were receiving doses of medicine, but they were not.
Letting them believe that they were being given a drug to help their condition.
The U.S. government formally apologized for the experiment in 1997 and labeled it what it was: racism. But Ron says none of that should keep people of color from getting their vaccines today.
That dark chapter was in. We're in the now. Unless we see something that points us in the direction that negativity is ongoing and continuing, that we need to move forward from that.
Reporting for Honoring Black History, I'm Daniel Marin, KTSM 9 News.
Very powerful story there on how serious this virus is, and I hope a speedy recovery for both of them. Now, when I'm anchoring on the news Monday to Friday to 5 to 7 a.m., we're waiting to hear the latest COVID-19 numbers to know how many people died and how many new cases there are. That's why I'm bringing back Dr. Alozie to discuss the recent report brought to my attention by El Paso Matters. Now, this is the title of it: Black El Pasoans men underrepresented in COVID-19 vaccinations, and state data indicate. Now, Dr. Alozie, we're African-American men. What needs to change to point blank just save lives?
I think it's about equity, right? So people often talk about equality, which is giving everybody the same access and the same approach. But if you understand that we're about 3 to 4% of the population in El Paso and less than 2% of the vaccines, there has to be an equity, right? So you find ways to get it into the Black community, whether it's through churches, whether it's through ICC, whether it's through Alpha Psi Alpha, the Kappas, whomever it is, Black Girls Were On, the Links, Jack and Jill. But all those organizations, they're tied into the community, and they'll be able to get vaccine. I think, though, Jay, it's also important for people to understand the supply chain's not there, right? There's not enough vaccine, and so, but in the next few months there will be, and if the planning goes into doing that now, we'll be able to get it into all parts of the community.
And that's what really needs to happen. And another dilemma that's going on right now, I know the elderly right now, African-American El Pasoans, who are not aware of just how to get vaccinated. They're using the telephones right now. And just this Tuesday, we had another event going on, the Super Senior Sign Up, and that's residents 75 years or older. Now, there was 2,500 appointments available online and 1,000 appointments made available through the telephone. Dr. Alozie, just how could we help our senior citizens, because they have the wealth of knowledge that the young people need to hear about just to know where we came from?
Yeah, again, I think you sort of called it out, right? whether it's online or by phone. I mean, thankfully, there are phone appointments right now. And we heard the great news that the city and the county are going to join forces to streamline the registration process. I think that'll be huge. But again, I think that as a community, we need to get that information out to the churches and the various community organizations. Because like you said, they're tied into the community. They know how to go find those super seniors. They know how to go find those members of their parishioners that have diabetes or hypertension, or they know have difficulty coming into church if church is in person. And so I think that really has to be part of the key.
And you know, something that's interesting too, I was speaking with one of my producers a little bit earlier today, and she was telling me that the last event that they had going on, normally the vaccinations were up in 2 or 3 minutes. This time it was 7 hours. So we're talking about people I just don't think that they know. So if you're watching this, even if you do need help, reach out to maybe your grandsons, your granddaughters, your sons, your daughters to get that internet access to help you out to get that vaccine, because just like we spoke about, this is not the Tuskegee experiments anymore. This is 2021. A lot of research has been done on this. Dr. Alozie, thank you again. We'll have you back a little bit later in the show.
All right.
Now, also, blacks make up for 4% of El Paso's population, but less than 1% of El Pasoans are vaccinated, whom race and ethnicity is known according to El Paso Matters. And for the African Americans out there hesitant about getting the vaccine, I get it. It's hard not to think about those Tuskegee experiments that started in 1932, treating a group of black men for syphilis in order to track their progress. Like you heard Daniel Marine said in the package, no medical care was given. Some men died, went blind, or just typically went insane. Basically, they were guinea pigs. That's why I'm moderating a free virtual event going on March 13th called Replacing Myths and Facts. It's an informational call for minorities communities. Dr. Alozie will be on that panel along with Dr. Ian Moore, and he's a researcher that's involved with testing the Moderna vaccine. We'll have that information on KTSM.com. Coming up.